Says we're live. Went live a couple minutes early just so I can get folks to tell me if my audio is working. I've got a DJI mic on my shirt so you guys can hear me talk as I walk around and get things done. But hey, what's up, folks? We're trying something new today. We're out in the garage. I was talking to Wolf of Walmart. First of all, let me go. If anybody's in the chat yet, let me know if you can hear my audio okay. And I see Liz pop up. I'm going to bring this up on my tablet as well. Liz, how does it sound? You guys give me some feedback, and then I'll get away from this desk and we'll start doing some kayak rigging. She says audio is okay. Well, excellent. So hopefully this way I can be walking around the garage doing stuff and things with my DJI mic on my shirt, and you guys can hear me okay. So Brian says, hearing me fine. All right, so let me see if I can get the comments pulled up on my tablet. That way I can keep that over there on the yak with me and see what y'all chatting, chit-chatting, so I don't have to keep running back and forth to the computer, and we can actually get things done. But yeah, we're doing a live rigging session, live in the Gramps garage, and I just pulled the streaming desk out here. I was actually talking with David from Wolf of Walmart over on Instagram, and we started talking about the new catch trap door for the PWRs, and I was like, I got to get off of here and go rig. And he said, oh, you need to shoot video of all that because everybody's interested in the XTR. It's like, dude, every time I try to shoot a video while I'm rigging, it makes it take like weeks, and then I got to go sit down and edit it. And then he's like, then just go live. And I'm like, why didn't I think of that? I literally spent the end of fall painting this garage to make it into a brighter rigging room for just such occasions. So as you can see, we're heading towards above freezing temperatures. So I've pushed the boat out of the garage. You can see the PWR up there on its racks, but today the focus is on the XTR. I've done some work inside the fishing man cave, but I just don't have enough room in there. But like I said, I painted this room to be able to shoot video out here. And since, especially during winter, so many people like live streams, let's go live for a few hours, and I'll chit chat with you guys as I rig the new scoping boat. Yes, I'm making fun of the people who hate forward-facing sonar. So yes, this season I've got two boats. The PWR up there is going to be my river boat. It's going to have a single graph on it with down inside in my maps, and then I bought an extra transducer, so the one that's on the PWR is staying on the PWR. So we're going to be adding the second transducer for down inside in maps to this XTR. So yeah, I'm just going to go through, and it's not going to be like a super up close and in detail, but more of an overview look. But you guys can see how I'm rigging the XTR before we get on the water down in Texas. And, chit chat on a cold, snowy day, unless you're down catching giant fish in Florida, like a bunch of our other friends are. So I figured, hey, let's go live, give y'all something to do. Let me create some content while we're actually doing this, and then you can watch along as I get this Bonafide built up and ready for Texas. For those who missed the live stream last night where I talked about the schedule for this year, the biggest trip I have, there's two of them. One of them's to Texas, where I'm going to be down there for 10 days, taking this kayak. Highest priority is Bassmaster Classic. I'm a fan. I'm a life member. Got to go, I want to go be there. I'm also going to be on the water filming some friends of mine, Fluke Master, Michael Ridenauer, while they're fishing in the kayak Bassmaster Classic. Technically not the name. We figure if we keep calling it that long enough, that's what they'll start calling it, because to kayak anglers, that is the classic. But it's the Bassmaster Kayak Series Championship that we're calling the classic. Come on, Steve, get them to rename it. It'll be the Kayak Classic. So that's going on. But prior to that, I'm actually going to leave the weekend before and go down and meet Nick from Fish Texas Kayak Trailers, one of my partners, where I'm going to be picking up my new Fish Texas kayak trailer. He's not showing me any pictures. He's not doing nothing. You guys know that I sold my first Fish Texas kayak trailer earlier this year, sent him that money, and that was my down, for this one. And then he's floated me Lefty, which I've been fishing with for the last 6-7 months. And I'm gonna take Lefty back to him after using it for the fall and here in the early spring. And then I'm gonna pick up my side-by-side Fish Texas kayak trailers so I can carry the XTR130 and the Bonafide PWR129 with me wherever I go. So, like I said, I got a river yak, a lake yak, but if we want to take somebody out fishing with us, I can put them in this kayak and they will be absolutely safe. So, up in the front, you'll see my box that I got in from Straight Up Mounts. I'm going to show you guys how we're going to do a quick unboxing of that and then kind of what my ideas is for getting that used and why. And then first and foremost, you see my power cable laying here. That's the power that runs from the front where the XI3 is going to be to the back where my black pack, my 13x16 black pack is going to be back here. And we'll go through and talk about how I'm going to rig all that and why. But first things first, I got to get the power run. I've already got what I have got done so far is I have the new Wizard foot control steering, the bearing ones. That's these here. As you can see, they slide on bearings on the foot rail. So I've got a second set. These are going to go on my PWR 129 as well. But I've already got those installed here. I ran the cables. I've installed the back rudder here for the foot control because the whole point for this one, being a lake boat, it's going to be for spot lock, not speed. So the XI3 is going to be on the front. I've already got the Bonafide plate and the XI3 mount installed up there. So I've got the foot control steering run and the rudder run, and then I'm just going to bring you guys along for the rest of it as we go through and completely rig out these boats. So what do I still have left to do? I've already drilled my holes and installed the back plug for the Anderson back here. I've actually already run my wire pullers through. Get this chair out of the way. Actually, let me get the comments pulled up on my tablet so as I walk around, I can see what you guys are saying and answer. Liz wants to see my box. I don't have a box. Okay, let's go back. Trying to get the comments pulled up on my tablet so that I can take the tablet with me so I can watch the comments and then respond while we're moving around the boat. You can see my thinning. Of course, I always keep my head shaved anyway, so you know. Let's see. Live. Make sure that's muted. Shut up. All right, chat. Live chat. I need to pull up my control room chat on the computer, so if we get some spammers coming in, I can block them super fast. All right. Yeah, Raging Cajun is my dude from Straight Up Mounts. The goal was to go up there like last weekend before we had this like ice storm that was coming. It's freezing in the garage. I'd be complaining if it was here. It's probably, I don't know, 40 in here. So I'm obviously not going to get overheated. Let me live chat. Can I pop this out? Pop out chat. Yes, I can. Okay, do it. All right, yeah, let me get the live chat from. I don't want an instruction on how to chat, people. What did I do? Close this, close this, open this. Honey, you can still smoke out here. It doesn't matter. Why is it not taking to me my chat? Come on. Why are you doing this to me? Just give me my chat, you stupid thing. Took me to like another. I need to have you guys with me so I can. Reading comments will cure your productivity. Yeah, but the point is also to spend time with you guys and answer any questions you might have as well. It's an interactive. Do you have your NK300 by you? I want to see how you did the mounts, the lifting arm. Oh, you're gonna have to wait. I'm actually I'm gonna go. So I'll take a quick recess on this and talk about the PWR first. So the NK300 is staying on the PWR 129. But that being said, let me grab it out of the box that it's in my box O upgrades. Because when I get the PWR down, probably next week, I'm going to go through some of the upgrades. Y'all get to look at the top of my head while I do this. Because there are some upgrades coming. But see, this is why I keep the chat nearby. We're actually going to be doing some upgrades to the NK300 because while I absolutely love this motor, it is so not perfect. So the first thing you'll notice when you get one is the lift arm that comes with it. It bends super easy. Now, for most of the year, this last year, this little fix right here, adding these two clips right there, moves that lifting arm to the front of the shaft, and makes it easier to lift and keeps it from rolling over when you're moving around. Well, that was perfect for most of the season until I got caught in some rocks at the very end of the season, and you see right there, it finally bent out of shape. So they just don't use heavy enough material. So that problem is going to be solved by this innovative Sportsman lifting arm, which is much, much heavier duty. And then I'm also going to replace this plastic 3D, the polymer, whatever it is, they make these, plastic parts out of, with this machined steering, angle. So that's going to be a future rigging video when I get the PWR down. I'll try to do that soon, but right now the focus obviously has to be on the XTR because, like I said, we're going to Texas first. So let me put this stuff down and out of the way. But I know if you're rigging a PWR right now and you're considering the NK300, that's not really helping you at all because I'm not giving you any content yet to be able to do it. But there will be, when I get the PWR off of its Christmas shelf, where it's been all season, we'll go through the rigging of all that, and I'll walk through how I'm going to have it set up for this year, along with some new products from Catch that I actually have on the way as well. All right, chat. Why are you not letting me do what I want to do? Yeah, pop out chat. What do you mean live chat? What is this stupid way? Does it setting up live chat university?
Hey there, and welcome to Live Chat University. In today's lesson, we'll set up live chat, walk around the agent app, and install live chat on your website. Let's do this.
Okay, I don't want this shit on my website.
So live chat consists of
Shut up, YouTube. Okay. This is so unhelpful. Close. Where is my studio? See, the first time we're trying to live stream out in the garage. So yeah, give me a second to take care of it. As long as you guys can hear me, that's the first start of it. Content. Live. Where is... The app is just so garbage. You can't let me do what I need to do from the dang website. Therefore, you make my life a pain. But these are the technical things that we do when I could just be, you know, doing close, open. Okay. Oh, you're such a pain in my butt. Settings. Yeah, see, there's no way to play with these kind of things until you're live, so it actually does me no good. Now the dogs are want to run back and forth, big dorks. Content. Why aren't you showing my live content? You are such a piece of crap. Crap. I just want to make the comments big. That's all I want. I just want to pop them out, put them on the tablet. Bang. Nope. You. Live. Pop them out, put them on the tablet. Oh, let's not. Let's kill the feedback. Live. Shut up. Put them on the tablet. Oh, let's not. Let's kill the feedback. That was bad. Bad. Oh, this is a bad idea. Slice says he's cooking food. I hope you guys aren't getting double feedback. I hope I muted that. That would be bad. So bad. Come on. Sly says he's cooking for his 24 or 21-year-old's B-day today. That's awesome. Let's figure this out. Come on. Do this. I mean, at least the video is pretty good. Okay. Studio. Content. Live. This live. No. Live. There we go. Walking taco dip. Ooh. Okay. Live chat. Pop out chat. Come on, work. Yes, there we go. Okay, you guys let me know. Can you hear me still okay? I don't have any double feedback. Everything sounds good? Because now I have your chat on a tablet and we can get to work. All right, first things first. But you guys let me know if everything still sounds good, looks good. Well, it's only going to look as good as it's going to get, but you know. Okay. I don't need to take the seat back off. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put the seat up and put you guys on the seat, and then I can just rotate you around whenever I walk by. Everybody says it's all good. All right, perfect. Well, now I can stream or I can point the comments in the directions we're going. So, as you guys can see, I've been trying to figure out how I want to put some kind of support under the black box. And when Chad Hoover did him and Austin, they did theirs using some spare rod holders. But that, to me, is like, you know, plastic and plastic on plastic, and that's not offering any buffering of the box. Because one thing I did last year, running my batteries in my black pack all year, was I cracked the bottom of that black pack flooring. So I need some cushion. So I was thinking about like yoga blocks, But Fluke Master, when I talked to him at the boat show last week, he said that he got a block of foam from the guys there at his kayak shop at Big Adventures, and they this is the light pole, and he kind of modified it so he could put it right in the back here, and then I give him a little padding. Well, I'm not going to go try to get a hold of them and then try to get them to ship me one and all that. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do is pool noodles. If I can find some that's like green or something darker, then I can cut the pool noodles to length in the battery box, because one thing I do not like about this design was they made a specific section for the battery and they put lips here. And to me, that's just terrible. So now what I have to do is I think I'm going to put pool noodles here and a couple here, so that way I can set the black pack right here and then strap it down and it stays put. That's the goal. But we're not going to try to solve that problem today. Today's goal is get power run, hopefully get the graph mounts up, and as much as we can do prior to having to go live tonight at 8 o'clock with Chad for the Catch 22 challenge. So hopefully I don't show you all the back of my head too much today, but maybe next time I'll also wire my phone up so I can kind of walk you guys around a little bit too, to kind of see what's going on. But while we're doing this real quick, you guys are chatting it up. Yeah, pool noodles, the 6 foot long little foam things that kids play with in the pool. It's perfect for something like this. All right, Instagram. I got a message from Dave. Ooh, Nick is posting pictures of trailers, but that ain't mine. All right, let's see. Instagram, go back, post, story. What's up, fishing fam? We are in the garage today with the XTR doing a live rigging session. Hop on in over at youtube.com/fishingwithgramps. You can already see we got folks in the chat. We pulled our streaming desk out here into the garage so we can actually get some work done on this Bonafide XTR130. Today we're going to try to run power, maybe some lights, maybe the graphs. We're going to see how much we can get done out here in the garage. So hop on over to youtube.com/fishingwithgramps and join us in the chat. Let's go. We are in the garage. Don't need to hear it again. You guys are getting a behind the scenes look of the social medias. Okay, so this needs to come from back to front first. So I need to find where'd my drill go? That's the drill, but not the screwdriver. I need my impact, because we need to go take off the front plate that we've already got mounted up. And just so you guys can see, the front plate that I have on the front of the boat already has the Anderson plug the XI3 is gonna plug into, and then I've got this little doohickey attached. The cable that I will pull, which I still have to drill out and do all that too, but the one that I actually pull that releases the XI3, comes through this hole and then pulls down the bottom of the XI3 itself. So when I do the video, that's the actual walkthrough of all of this completed. We'll go through all that, but you probably seen this when I did my rigging of the Power 129. So we're doing the exact same concept, but I've already got my XI3 mount up front. So now I just need to see if I can find where I've run that cable puller from the back to the front, but I probably don't have enough stretched out yet. But I do need to open the hatch, so I need to go ahead and get my graphs and stuff out of here. We've got all kinds of goodies for this kayak to install. Oh, that's why, because I've already got done is my black box for the live scope, and the power switch, the yak power switch, is mounted to a front plate. So I have a back plate and a front plate, and those are already installed. But like I said, I'll show you guys that more up close in the actual rigging video. But oh, yep, there is my moose. Gunner, can you two settle down? I got the two goobers out here who are not happy that they're inside either. They would rather be out romping around out there. You know what? I can make this a little easier myself. I just fed this in first and then pulled it up and attached it. I had to rebuild this cable because the one I pulled out of the PWR was about 2 feet too short. Why do I feel like this is the wrong one? This feels a little short to me. Oh, nope, I guess it's not. So, we'll pass this through. Hook this bad boy up. Just like that. And then start. Go ahead and feed this all the rest of the way in. I'll go ahead and realizing now that I need to take the old plug off and put the new one in, since I didn't need to put the clips in. So I need to find a small screwdriver and take that one off and poke those both through the. That's the fun part with after you redo your whole garage, is not being able to find anything. Most walking around hoping my butt's not poking out. I ain't trying to give you all the old Hank Hill. 27 people have now unsubscribed. Did not want that visual of a flat bottom. Funny historical note, back when I played basketball and was working out all the time, one of my coworkers, who's a good friend of my wife, she used to call me Onion. She called me Onion for like 10 years. And when I asked her one day why she called me Onion, she's like, your booty's so round it just makes me gonna cry. So yeah, a little bit of Gramps history for you. You want to pick on my wife, just ask her how Lynn's doing. Oh, where is my little screwdriver? Little tips about young Gramps you didn't want to know. But hey, we're here to share, whether you want to hear it or not. I was actually really proud of that too. Uh-oh. Tablet went to sleep. Wake up. Guess I gotta keep you, Am I gonna run a live scope on it? Oh yeah, this is the Scopin' Boat. It's probably gonna have a name, something similar to that. But Texas doesn't have smallmouth. What are we gonna do? Actually, I got a friend who catches smallies down in Texas. A lot of the lakes he fishes has smallies in them. They're like 16s and 17s from what I've seen, but I never knew there were smallies. Of course, the whole time I lived in Texas, I didn't know there were gators there. Now, that doesn't make any sense for me to even think that because I never saw one. But I mean, if they're in Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, logic says they would be in Texas as well. Back in the man cave looking for my small screwdriver, but you know what? I'll jack with that later. Let's get this power cable right. Isn't that right, Moose? We gotta get the. Oh, I gotta take both of those off. All right, first things first. Let's pull this cable through because I don't know why I put those ends on when I already knew I had put ends inside the. And I already put the ends inside of the two plates. So yeah, not the smartest move there, Gramps. But you know, if anything, those being on there will help the end of this cable puller pull them through, but they don't have to go through and remove them and then insert them into. It's always the fun part, trying to get everything moving in that direction. Poke more that way. Uh-oh, chat can discontinued. Are we still live? Yep, we're already down to 15 people, so I figured this would either be a good idea or a bad idea, but you know. What are you hung up on? All right, let's see. That's great for audio, I'm sure. Sorry about your ears, peeps. Hmm. Where is it you have to go to get through? Okay, says I'm good. The audio was just fine. It's far enough away from the mic. Okay, cool. All right. Find this a bit, poke it through. Watch out, Moose. Now, for anybody who is thinking about getting an XTR or PWR, another kayak where you're going to run cables like this from front to back, and you don't want to try to become a baby electrician and do all your ends and cables and all that yourself. Chad and Gene both, I think, have started working with C-Clear, and they're going to be designing kits that you can basically buy that you can just drop in. So, like I said, if you don't want to, you got to be careful because I know I got other cable run down through there that I don't want to jack up. Go. There we go. All right, better pull her out of the way for now. We'll have to use this again later to run the little smaller cables. That will be for the lights and the light poles and other accessories coming off the back, or USB stuff. But that being said, figure out where I put my flathead screwdriver. So if you guys have any questions or thoughts, drop them in the chat, and I'll try to check them out as I walk by. Where you get your ball? I guess that live's not going to be enough to keep my tablet going, which sucks. Yeah, kits should be handy for the folks who, whatever you do, don't run the motor battery cables next to your transducer wire. Yeah, I know. I think that's all going to go like on that side, but one of the things I want to do. But that being said, this this power cable is shielded, so it should keep them from being, that close together. But what I am going to try to do is I wonder if I can. Yeah, because I may have to because I have a new transducer mount this year too. It's the newest one from Dugout Tackle that they did like for Christine Fisher, and then this year they've got a newer version of that. But I may move that to that side of the kayak this year. We'll have to see. We will have to see. All right, boys, watch out. Let me see if I can go down here. Watch out, I don't want to run over your feet. Yeah, I know you want to fight right now. Me and Gunner have this game where he likes to do it when he's holding his tennis ball, but he will start punching me, and I'll start punching him. And then he'll like try to kick me with his. Oh, I did pull that down in too far. Crap, I did not want that to fall in. Oh, there it is. All right, so let's pop these Anderson plug-ins off. Somebody go out and give me an update on the Kayak Adventure series. Is that one dude still sitting at 107? Or has he caught and replaced like the 18 and 19 he had? Dude had like a 24, a 22, a 20, and then a 19 and 18. I have never put that many inches up on the board in a month up here in Indiana, let alone caught a 24-inch anything. Hit a 24.75, and I think Big Bass for the Kayak Adventure series right now is a 25. That is just phenomenal. So the positive for this one is on that side, and I need that to go in this way. So I need, oh, there we go. I got a perfect red on the left and black on the right. So let's go ahead and feed these into this Anderson plug. And there's one. Let's see if we can get the one on this side. It's always a pain in the butt to get like both of them. Oh, did that go? Yes, it did. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So there is the front. What's up, buddy? I know you want to lay by me, but I'm not going to be sitting still too awful long. He always likes to lay at my feet wherever I'm at. So whenever I'm streaming, he's laying on my feet. If I'm sitting on the couch watching TV, he's on my feet. If I'm at my desk editing, he's at my feet. So I'll just go ahead and set these two screws back in ever so lightly just to kind of hold them in place, because I'm going to have to come back through later on and run that pull cable that's going to be used to unlock the XI3 when I go to pull it out as I drive up on the trailer. All right. There we go. Yeah, like I said, I don't know why I put these back on, but it's so not needed. Watch out, buddy. I know you're laying down again. You just happened to quit timing out. Daryl Harris is still 107, so same dude. Yep. Holy cow. Isn't that crazy? Your garage is way cleaner than mine. You should have seen it before my winter project. And the reason why it's so clean is most of the stuff I took out of here to actually paint it white instead of, because what I painted, and you'll see I even painted over the window just because I don't want anybody seeing it. I live in the country, so it really wasn't necessary. But I also wanted the sun to be able to do exactly what it's doing right now and help fuse light around the room. But the reason why the garage is so clean is because everything that I took out of here is sitting over in the storage unit that I'm sharing with my son. So he's just trying to keep me calm. Oh, he knows. That is his thing. That is his life. He is my boy. As you all know, my brother's dog is the same way. They are peas in a pod, that is for sure. Gunner and Bullet. Two service dog brothers for 2 former service members. And Bullet is Jeremy's actual service dog, where Gunner is my companion dog. Gunner was actually donated, along with Bullet, to another veteran that Jeremy was in the VA domiciliary with. But the poor guy, he couldn't handle the stress of owning a pet. And so, and I get it, some guys, even while they're still dealing with PTSD and, going through and trying to treat themselves, a service animal, it doesn't work best for everybody. So when he realized he couldn't do it, Jeremy called the breeders who donated them and said that, hey, instead of, driving all the way back down to North Carolina, or trying to find this, beautiful German Shepherd pup a home, he said, my brother's also a disabled veteran and would absolutely love to adopt him and take care of him. That way that we can keep the brothers somewhat close by. And so that was what we did. Bullets with Jeremy as his service dog, and Gunner is my homeboy that takes care of me and my wife, who, as many of you know, is also an Army veteran. Then we have Moose, who's running around the garage, who is my youngest son's dog. He was an infantryman. With the dogs laid down on a blanket out of your way. Oh, he knows where the carpet's in here, and he's literally watching the door. He's keeping the cats. he's keeping the cats from coming in and attacking. But yeah, he's sitting in the man cave right there at the door while Moose is running back and forth. He's a good boy. And Moose is staying with us because John Michael was up at the same VA domiciliary that Jeremy was, going through treatment, and is now out, and he's actually staying with Jeremy. And they are keeping themselves busy by making baits for the fishing fam and for therapy. As everybody knows, Jeremy fishes for recreation therapy because he's been deemed unable to work. But he's not like on long-term Social Security disability because he's still waiting for his VA claim to get settled. But for those who don't know, Jeremy was stationed in Fort McClellan, Alabama, and he was a police officer. And some of the areas that they trained has been deemed to have been poisoned by Monsanto. Or let me say this, a lot of people were poisoned by chemicals in the areas that they trained. And Monsanto has settled with the city around Fort McClellan, figuring that when the VA files that they would end up having to settle with them too. But for some odd reason, the VA hasn't gone after them. Well, several people have passed away from various cancers and ailments due to being poisoned by the chemicals. I don't know what the VA is doing, but I wish they would get on with it. There's a big article in the American Legion magazine year before last about it. And they're still fighting, trying to get the Senate and whoever to do the right thing. Speaking of which, that's something I might have Mr. Musk, while he's doing all these other things, bring that to his attention so that the VA can get off their butts and get these guys taken care of, because it's not fair what they have to go through. It's just like a lot of guys I served with came back after the Gulf War. Now, these are guys that I served with prior to them going to the Gulf War. When the Gulf War actually started, I had just left the unit that ended up being one of the ones that invaded Iraq. And I went to another unit where I was one of the training NCOs training the people to go to the Gulf War. So it is what it is. But a lot of the guys I served with in unit in Germany that ended up in in Iraq and crossing the border from Saudi Arabia, ended up dealing with a lot of the negative aspects of being over there, and they labeled it later on the Gulf War syndrome, which a lot of it sounds like, because there were chemical attacks a lot of people didn't know about. Colin says he's watching from work. All right, welcome. Wolf Walmart says he's watching or doing some work, or else he'd give us an update on the Kayak Adventure series. Philip said he was in Desert Storm. CBs, excellent. Yep, I was with the 2nd Armored Cavalry Regiment that had been stationed in Germany doing border patrol. And right after I left is when they deployed to go from Saudi Arabia, and went over the top. So let's see. Do I still have? Nope, I still have the feed from the Akalalapalooza. Yep, Daryl Harrison from Florida is still in the lead. He's got a 24 3/4, 22 and a half, 22, 19 and a half, and 18 and a quarter, 107 inches. And those are all from today. He didn't upload any fish yesterday, so I don't know if he didn't fish last night during the pre-fish session, or if he just showed up today and fished, which is one of the great things about it. You can actually do that. But let me get these wires out, and then we'll mount these to the back plate, and then we'll move on to the next little project here. But I figure I've got, let's see, it's going on 3 o'clock. I've still got a few hours I can actually stay live and rig this afternoon before I'm going to hop off before 7, so that I can eat some lasagna with Gran, and then get ready for the live stream with Chad at 8 o'clock, and we can go over all the catch-22 and fish up stuff for February as we get ready for March. And the fact that we've got so many people down south already just putting up numbers. I think Liz, and we'll talk about it tonight when I pull up. Oh, there's Chris Russ. What's up, bro? But I think Liz has already got 22 fish over 20 inches. Is that right, Liz? Did you get rid of those last 2 yet? I know you were close last time I looked. I know I was going to go look tonight before I pulled up the stats and brought it up. But she and Liz and Austin Hoover have been just hammering it, going back and forth in like the nationwide lead for catch 22. It's just so incredible. And anybody listening that hasn't heard this yet, anybody that's listening that hasn't heard this yet, next year in 2026, before all the other schedules and everything else comes out, one event that me and the Freedom Squad are going to put together is we're going to schedule something, and we'll figure out the dates probably sometime this time next year, since everybody and their brother down in Florida is smashing them right now. But we are going to have a Freedom Squad get together around probably the Tampa, Florida area, if Liz says that's the spot. But yeah, we want to have a get together and have a reason to go down. Now, say that there's a kayak adventure series or something else down there this time of year too. Maybe we can focus it on that area to help promote the cause, and then Liz can come there. But we're going to do something in Florida next spring, because you have a ton of people who've never fished Florida in their life, and maybe they're looking for an excuse to go down there and catch the biggest bass of their life. And yeah, that's what we want to do. So maybe next year in February, March, time frame, whatever, that'll be something. The screwdriver is so big, it makes it hard to get these things off of the little things that hold them in place. But you quit jacking around trying to spend 20 minutes on each one. But kind of is what it is right now. It's like I get it loose and then it grabs again. Let go. Oh, don't grab it again, stupid. need a smaller screwdriver, but yeah. One of the cats is outside the garage. I hear him sticking his... Oh, nope. He was in the man cave trying to get past Gunner. Gunner's like, nope, not having it. All right, got one out. There we go. Phillips says caught biggest bass in the state of Maine, 10.6. Wow. I'm really hoping to catch something bigger than 8 pounds this year when I go to Texas, because that is a PB that I set in 1997, I think it was, fishing on the bank at Lake Fork. Scott says he just saw his neighbor. Let's see, positive and negative. Positive on this side, negative on this side. All right, let's see if we can get these bad boys fed through. Is that the right way? Yes. These are a pain in the butt to put in and take out, but they stay put once you figure it out. Come on, why don't y'all go through? Am I doing it the right way? That's the lip, that's the lip, yep. Doing it the right way. Get on in now. Oh, there's one. All right, get the red one in there. Let's see if I... Oh. There we go. Pull. Yep. All right, sweet. There is that. So, back in there. So there's the Anderson plug for the back plate. Speaking of cats, I currently have 5 of them watching me spool my only spinning combo. We also have 5 cats. And more spinning combos than that. I think I'm up to three spinning combos? 3 or 4. I think it'll be 4 total. Because I'm going to have a Senko rod. I'm going to have a dedicated Nico rig rod. Then I'm going to have a Ned rig rod. And then a cheer box rod for the jigging minnows. But we're going to be doing, once I get this all done, I'm going to be doing all rod and reel reviews before we get on to the actual fishing season. Okay, so power. Let's see. Settings. Yeah, I just got a tablet this year too, to when I'm out doing tournaments and whatnot, I can put my, and I'll show you guys this in future videos, but I'll have the Active Captain app on the tablet, because then I can go through and look at maps, realizing the tablet's only got 29% on it. I should have plugged it in this morning. I was streaming the actual Bassmaster on this like all day, running Hulu. But I'm going to have my Active Captain app on here, which it's already on here. So I can go through and study maps when I'm at some place. And if I see a place I want to drop a waypoint, that I could do that. And then that will automatically sync up to the maps on the 2 Garmin's. And, you know, so I can use this to do a lot of study beforehand. And then when I'm on the water, but it always lets me have all my waypoints and everything here, do some map study, and do all that too. But let's see. How do I keep this thing from falling asleep while I am here? Probably not the time to do this, but you know, screen time. How do I turn off the old fall asleep thing? Device care. Yeah, because I want it to stay on while I am here. Advanced setting volume. Lock screen. I'll have to find this for next time. Display. Screen timeout. There we go. 10 minutes. Keep it on while viewing. All right, let's see if that helps me out here. Back to home. There we go. Rigging not complete without a window fishing decal. LOL. Darren's my boy. If you guys ain't following Wolf of Walmart on the old Instagrams, you better get over there because you're missing some good stuff. What am I wiring? So what I just got done wiring was the actual power cable. The XI3 is going to be on the front of the kayak, and the black pack with my batteries is going to be in the back. So I had already put tips on a power cable, and then I had put in the Anderson plug ends into each of the front and back plates. So we were pulling that power cable through, and then we'll see what we're going to do next. Let's go ahead and break out these graph mounts from straight up mounts, and I'll kind of show you guys what we're gonna do for the graphs. And I'm gonna start. I'm gonna have to, in the next rigging session is probably when I'm going to run the wires for the actual graphs and electronics, or graphs and lights and whatnot, because I just kind of did this impromptu today, so I figured to go live for a few hours today, and but then since I want to do some more live sessions, if this goes well, then we'll get a little more prepped and ready for our next live session, and kind of walk through all that too. But let me get these out of here. So we have the bottom mount that's going to go between the two tracks on the lid there. And these are from our friends up in Bristol, Indiana. When I found that there was a mount maker here in the state, I was like, I got to call these guys and order some of their stuff. We were going to partner up and I was going to go up to a shop, and he was going to build me a custom one, because I want to try to get this as low profile as possible. But, we had possible ice and stuff coming in. But straight up mounts, you can see some of their stickers. They do a lot of boat mounts for the guys running dual and triple graphs. But I was going to go up there and try to spend a day in his shop where he could bend me a custom one that's even lower. That's a 3-inch. And I was like, hey, can you do like a 1-inch? Just because I'm trying to get this as low profile as possible. But I couldn't get up there because we had weather coming in. which, you know, took us back down into the sub whatevers again. Put this up here for now. Is this not going to work? No, they're still too wide. I need to be, these are, I took a chance. Yeah, I took a chance of hoping that these would go, but these are going to be about probably an inch or a half an inch too wide. That sucks. Yeah. I knew I wasn't going to know until I know. I don't know if I can't probably bend these in at all anyway. But no, these are probably about, man, right at a half an inch too wide. I saw these on another kayak, another XTR at Kayak City. So I don't know exactly how they got those. They might have drilled. Holes farther in to get this to work, which is probably what I'm going to have to do. So we're going to have to do a little customize and save. But the idea that I have, and I'm probably actually going to put this one on upside down instead of pushing it forward. I want it back this way, but I'm probably going to set it like this, and then put one of my graph mounts upside down here. Or I might go there, and then the next one up. But the premise will be that it goes like this, and then like this. Does that make sense? So I'll have the one in the back with my maps, and the one in the front with my scope. Or I think I also thought about doing it like, let's see if I took this, which is probably what I'm going to end up doing after I get these drilled out. But I am not going to try to do that on camera. That'll be way too loud and too much cussing and screaming. Let's see if I can get you out. But if I do that like this, turn this around, this, and this. Yeah, if I do that like this and this, then I get the real low profile the way I want it. So you can see I'll have one down like this, like that, and then the other one up here. And then the funny thing is that actually leaves me some space if I wanted to put my little tool caddy thing on there. But the goal, we'll get it to be like this. So I have one low, one high, but both center mounted and out of the way. But I can still lift this deck up and keep tackle in my tackle bags and whatnot under there. So yeah, we'll have to definitely have to play with that. But I might get my dude to custom make me one and get him the exact measurements from center to center. Actually, let me see. Let me do this real quick and send him a picture of what I need. We need the Chatter GRAMPS decal on. That's pretty good. Oh, was that you that posted those there? Okay, so did you have to drill the holes out? That was you, Dave, that I saw that put these on from Kayak City. I wondered. Um, that's what I wondered. So, like, did you have to drill them out to customize them? Because I think what I'm going to get him to do, if that was you, and that's exactly where I wanted. When I saw that, I was like, who made that? And when I found him, I called him up as fast as I could. But yeah, that's actually my exact goal, is to, kind of have it like this, so that I could have one graph down lower and then the other graph up here, because I like to skip. And, if I can keep the XI3 and the top of this mount as low as possible, I like to skip my chatterbaits, my Senkos, and all that stuff from my right hand over to my left side. I like the bank that I'm fishing to be over here, for the most part when I'm fishing. So yeah, that's my actual goal. I off-centered the holes opposite of each other for less rocking on the mount. But did you have to drill your own hole, or did you have him make you a custom? Over here. Get these out of the way for now, because what I would love for him to do for me is to. We took it off my buddy's boat. Okay, you did drill them out. Okay, that's what I may do. But I think what I want to do is I'm going to send him these dimensions, and so that's 16 inches. That's 16, and I bet these are probably right at 16 and a half. Oh yeah, you got a full shop of of the goodness. So if these are 16 dead nuts, so I'm gonna send him a quick video. All right, y'all bear with me a second. I'm going to shoot a video for him. All right, dudes, check it out. This thing is perfect, but these holes are 16 and a half, and I need them right at 16. So if you can bend me one of these mounts that's an inch high and these two holes are 16 inches from each other, that would be perfect. Send me a bill and I will send you the monies. I don't know if Raging Cajun's still in the stream, but I'm sending this to him real quick. 1 or 2. All right, where's my dude? Raging Cajun. Perfect. Boom. But the funny thing is, I'm actually going to keep this mount as well because I want to be able to pick this assembly up and put it on my boat. So at some point in time, I am going to figure out a way to make my live scope portable, or if I start fishing in the boat enough again down the road, chasing those crappie. Oh, okay, so he did see the chat. I just sent you the video just so you knew. But yeah, 16 inches, dead nuts, an inch high. Man, that would be the perfect low pro. Or even 2 inches if we wanted to make sure your sticker was on there. But I'll put stickers around it. So if you can get that like at an inch, oh, bro, that would be the bomb. That would be the bomb. And then I could take this one and I'll mount it on my boat, and then I'll have a way to pick them up and move them around when I go do crappie fishing too. But good to see Raging Cajun in the chat. But man, these things, it's funny, guys, because as solid as this is, it's still super lightweight. I was surprised. I was surprised when I got the box in, and I was like, did he pack all the parts in there? But I mean, you can tell this stuff is heavy duty, and but I think if we do, like you said, and if he comes up with some of these that are 16 inches to match this track, I think he's going to sell a bunch of these kits to guys who are doing exactly what I'm doing. So that should be perfect. But that said, let's now that we know this, and like I said, I was hoping to, do an unboxing today and all that too, but I wanted to talk about straight up mounts, and it's, you guys see STR8, number 8, upmounts.com. You can find them on Facebook, Instagrams, and the interwebs. But yeah, I'm actually going to recommend these down to my guys down at American Legacy Fishing, because they do a lot of boat rigging, where I'm like their kayak guy. Their big focus is obviously rods, reels, baits, but then they do a lot of marine, stuff for the boaters, which is most of those guys. I think I'm like, me and the Freedom Squad are basically their kayak guys. But you guys know I'm both a boater and a kayaker, even though I don't have a big bass boat. I have a crappie fishing boat, which is my low fishing machine. We haven't seen that on the channel in the last couple of years, but we're going to bring it back this year because I'm not trying to pigeonhole myself into only being a bass angler, only being a kayak bass angler, only being a kayak tournament bass angler. I fish for fun, but I fish all the different ways for fun. But honestly, I missed catching some big slabs last year, and I've been watching my boys up at Monroe, Devontae Seltzer, and there's another guy who fishes with his dad for crappie up in Monroe all the time, and they just been smashing some slabs. And old Gramps has want some more of that back in his life. Now, one of the things we did get in the other day, I'm going to put these with the mounts so I don't lose them. What kind of trolling motor? So on the XTR, I actually have a Motor Guide XI3, and I know that Motor Guide, Lowrance has done their thing, and they're phasing these out. Lowrance will come out with their own version of it, but I still have an XI3, so it's not going to go to waste. Now, that said, if the prices come down on, say, the Power Pole Move, or Minn Kota or Garmin. I really would love a Garmin, because what I would love to have is the Garmin Force with the built-in transducer, their GT56, I think it is. I would love to have that, because then I don't have to run that. One of the things I don't like is the transducer off the back. I would rather it be closer to where my unit is, because if I want precise marking of the brush piles that I'm going to fish. And the reason why I'm not really worried about that this year is, you know, if I mark a waypoint on my unit and the transducer is 10 feet behind me, then I know on the map that it's 10 feet back there. If I were only fishing with down and side imaging in the maps, well, then I would spend the probably $400 with Garmin to buy their GPS puck and the NIM 2000 network stuff to have the GPS puck right back there by it. Because when you're doing that, you want the heading sensor, you want the GPS location to be precise. Because if you're only using down and side imaging, then when you mark something, you say you go over a brush pile and you mark it, and then you circle back around and you're coming to it. If you're off by 10 feet, you have to remember that, but you're still kind of casting blind because you're backed off of the brush pile and throwing to what you previously saw. I don't have that problem with live scope because even if I'm close, if I back off and I come back in and I know I'm within 30 or 40 feet of it, what am I going to do? I'm going to point the live scope at it, and then I know exactly how far away that brush pile is, and that's the advantage of live scope. But if you don't have live scope or you're not playing that game and you want to go older school, still high tech with the down and side imaging, you roll over it, you mark it, you back off, you come back up to it, knowing that, you know, you're casting it to something that you saw previously, or you dropped a buoy marker on, you know, kind of older school. But I don't really need to spend that $500 for the precise puck, because I can back off, come back, and then even if I'm off a little bit, I don't have to guess. I can see where it's at with the live scope and then start casting, because then I know exactly how far away I am. But at some point in time, I still may put that puck on there anyway just to see if it makes a difference. But with the live scope, I really don't have to. Got a power pole move coming to the shop with the next TR build. I got a template and everything for aluminum shop to build the mount. It's going to be crazy. Yeah, the one thing I really prefer is, and you know, I'm going to give it a few years because we're playing the boat game. We're not playing the kayak game at this point when you're talking about those bigger trolling motors, because that's still a lot of weight up front. But if I get to the point where I can get a decently sized or heavy enough, you know, um, because and a lot of these guys need to think about this if they're fishing tournaments. Right now, as far as I know, all of the tournament organizations are still limiting those trolling motors to 3 horsepower. What's the thrust, you know, on a move? Because what I really want, and that's why I was looking at, like I said, the Garmin Force, where I can have that transducer up front as well, but you're getting that 110 pound thrust or whatever it is, then I will be able to get the 6 or 7 miles an hour out of a trolling motor that I get with my NK300 on the back. But if I can put all that up front and pull the kayak where I get the speed and the spot lock, that's a big deal. So if you're working on that offshore game where you're going to be doing like you see Dustin Cannell and Jacob Wheeler doing out, you know, Jones Jr. and Hamner, they're chasing. The new game is chasing the bass. You're chasing the schools of bass. They're using the forward facing, looking for those wolf packs of bass that are running around in open water, smashing bait fish. And that's what's different. Whereas you see like G-Man and Hackney and all of these guys fishing the banks, fishing the docks, fishing the structure, fishing the stumps. They're looking for those bass that are orienting to an object, and those are the fish that they're catching. The new school is in open water, chasing those active schools of bass, like hunting like leopards, chasing a flock of whatever out in open water. And that's the new game. And they call it video game fishing and all that too. But it's literally a whole new approach that we've never had with bass fishing before. You're chasing schools of bass that are out there smashing these fish in open water with either those, you know, jerk baits or the jig head minnows. And that's just a whole new way of fishing, however you want to look at it. So there's a lot of, you know, Yeah, and like Phil said, the old school is still pitching to things. You're pitching to an object because I, I can go and I'll pull a book up one of these days because I've had books and a lot of stuff. They've actually put bass in swimming pools like a kiddie swimming pool, and nothing in it. The fish are all scattered all over. You draw a black line in it, the bass orient to it. You drop some rocks in that kiddie pool, the bass orient. You know what I'm saying? Bass like relating to objects. That's why you find them around stumps, trees, docks, corners, old school stuff. But with forward facing, what we now have is a whole new technique, completely different than anything we've ever done in the past. And a few of these guys have figured it out, and they're actually chasing the bass in open water. So, new school, you're out in the middle of nowhere chasing the school. Old school, you're pitching to objects and going through that. Just two different ways to do it. Yeah, like Maine said, you don't have to have a scoping unit to get in the whole jig head minnow thing. That's the key thing. I mean, if you pay attention to your down imaging, and I'm not talking side, I'm talking about down. When you're running around across the middle of a lake and you go over the creek channel that's in that lake and you see a school of bass down there, a bunch of dots, one back in the day, Jeremy and I used to do this all the time before we had scope, and Jeremy still hasn't had scope. He just actually his is in my truck. He got one from Bobby. But if you're used to looking at your side imaging and your down imaging and see those schools, and back in the day we would throw a marker buoy out there over the top of them. You just turn around and start throwing. It's kind of like the old school way of how we used to jerk bait. You find that open school of fish in the open water, and you throw a jerk bait out, bang, bang, bang. You catch them that way. The live scope is just basically letting you see them before you run over them, and showing them to you so that you don't have to circle around, throw a marker buoy down, so you remember where to cast. It just kind of takes that step out of it. Hey, Sly Fox, ain't nothing wrong with being cheap. We know how it is. When you still got kids and you got family and whatnot to take care of, you gotta budget and do your own things first. But you hit that lotto, I get it. So let me show you else. What else I got. We'll go through and do some of this while we're rigging here. And this is actually gonna be nice and easy and cheating. And again, you're not going to really see it from as far away as you are. But one other thing I got for this compartment right here. Put these screws out of the way by the scuppers. This is going to be my tackle storage. It's going to be right here under my I'm going to put this together and then I'll come show you guys the camera. But One Objective just came out with these, and when I saw it, I knew I had to have it, because the age-old question of kayaks and spinnerbaits is, well, what the heck do I do with my spinnerbaits in a kayak? Because nobody likes to carry those big old spinnerbait boxes, right? But check these out. They're dividers. Make sure you guys can see this. They're dividers, but they've got the cutouts to hang your chatterbaits and spinnerbaits off of. So I can literally put these in here. And they fit. They cut them to fit in the little grooves. Okay, so this one had this divider I need to turn around and put the other way, because I have to. That's not, now I see why there's 3 grooves. So put this here. All right, that goes. These fit in the grooves that they put in the yak by the scuppers. Oh, okay. These are different. Okay, so let's see what I got to do here. I got to figure out the spacing. Maybe this one comes out. Oh, okay, yeah. This one comes out this way. That one comes out this way. I put one here. Oh, okay, yeah. And then I can put this one here. Oh, perfect. So then, boy, do I dare try to connect my camera just so I can show you guys. So what if you guys, I know you're way away. So I've got space, I got corners here that I can put little hook boxes in. I could put my scale like in here. Then these I can put 37s across. And then I've got little side compartments here. But as you can see by the shape of it from when I showed you, I've got all these hangers. So I can put spinner baits here and then put the bodies and buzz baits in over here. And then I could put chatter baits here. But when I close this, it seals down over it. So even if I'm bouncing up and down the road, I could probably get a pool noodle for when I'm traveling, a pool noodle to put across and kind of hold everything in place. And when I get where I'm going, I take that out, or I get like a plastic mat or something to come over, and everything stays put. But actually, oh, that fits down. That fits down pretty good. Yeah, I'll have to figure that out. But like you see, I got room here for soft plastics. I got room here for so I don't have to store stuff in the black pack, because the black pack basically this year is going to be my battery box. So the other thing I got was I got the underseat storage, but I'm going to play with the thoughts of that because I may have to take the net from my PWR or get another one to do that, because Gene made a good point. When you're bouncing up and down around the road, having an open drawer, maybe I use the open drawer to put my plastic speed bags in, and I can take those out when we're off, when we're moving down the road, and then just put them in when we get there. But I also got one of the Craftsman. I also got one of these bad boys with pull-out drawers in case I want to, go this route instead. But I think, knowing me, I will probably put like all my hard baits and crankbaits and all that stuff up front, those 3700s in there, and then I will have my underseat storage with my KBD speed bags, because I've got like 3 or 4 of those, and I may just have those lined up so that way I can pull them out from under my seat and throw another, worm or whatever on. But that's kind of the thought there. There's so many options with this thing. Now, seems like your tackle will be quite a stretch for me. I mean, that's fine. What I also use is, because anything that's up here, that's going to be a reload. What I generally fish with, I'll go get them and I'll show you. What's going to be, I'll just bring these 3 in. What I generally fishing for the day are in these. So I call these my like day boxes. So I actually have one of these when I go smallie fishing. It's nothing but smallie stuff. And then I pull out, so here you see my ploppers, my tubes, my bluegill, and like natural color crankbaits and some chartreusey stuff. I've got my gobies, and ploppers and things like that. But these are what I go by during the day. So I mean, this one is pretty much, you can see it's like a smallie box, some green pumpkin Senkos, some natural green pumpkin jigs, and you got the the juvie crawl. So stuff like this. This is what I fish out of during the day. The stuff that's going to be that is what I reload this with. You know what I'm saying? So I would have to go through a whole bunch of chatterbaits, a whole bunch of jigs, a whole bunch of Senkos or something before I even had to think about getting up there. But I'm seriously, when I'm saying I'm treating this thing like my boat, and that's where my tackle storage is going to be, so that I always have it with me in case I get somewhere and what the conditions I thought I were going to be fishing are completely different. Say I'm fishing clear water. This happened to me at the Susquehanna. I got up there, the water was clear as you can get. Then it rained and jacked everything up. So all those clear water baits, the green pumpkins and everything else I had to substitute out with either more chartreuse type stuff or darker colors to come through. So that's what it's going to be. Is this is going to be my refill, or if I just get out there, it's just like my boat locker. You know, you see the guys in the boats have all the extra crap. My track packs are going to have, you know, what I'm fishing in with right then and there. Now, one of the things I haven't got out yet is I've actually got seat tray things over here, so I could literally have track packs mounted here, and like I said, in future rigging sessions, that's what I'm going to do. Is I got to get all this stuff out, laid out, organized, so that next time I go live, I'll be a little more productive. Today was a test run just to get you guys in so you can see what we're doing. And kind of go through and work out some of these kinks of how, you know, I'm going to do this. So next time I will, you know, I'll get this mount in from Straight Up Mounts, and we'll get that part going. But now at least I know what I need to do. So between now and then, I can probably go ahead and mount my graph holders onto this plate, so that's ready when that new mount comes in. And you know, we'll be ready to go there. And before all of that comes in, I'll go ahead and start working on running some of the electronics. But like I said, today was just a test run. Tomorrow, I'll probably end the live here in a little bit now that we kind of got a test run out of the way, since we have a live tonight. But tomorrow's Sunday, and I may spend the rest of the afternoon kind of laying things out here in the garage, and then coming up with the rigging order that I want to get into. So that you guys, it'll be a little more organized. And like I said, today was a test run. Didn't know how all this was going to work, if it would work, if you guys could hear me and all that good stuff. Maybe what kind of batteries do I use? Yeah, I'm Dakota lithium. One thing you'll learn about me is I am a buy once, cry once kind of guy. When I was growing up, we were raising our kids, we were forever the couple that would go buy you know, lawn chairs from Dick's Sporting Goods, and you know, and you do that two or three times a year because they were cheap and, you know, they get you by. But one of the things that I've learned, and I'm looking up because I have my Yeti lawn chairs up here, instead of spending $1,000 on lawn chairs over 5 years, we got to the point now where I will spend $250 on a lawn chair, and I'll never have to buy another lawn chair again. Just like my wife in her kitchen, you know, would buy, you know, the cheapest appliances to get us by from time to time to time, and then you buy new appliances like every other year. Now she buys Cuisinart. I'm the same way. I will buy batteries that I know I don't ever have to jack with, because what I can't have happen is some cheap lithium battery either catches fire when I'm on the water somewhere or in my garage and burns my house down, because it has happened. You search the internet, you'll find it. But there's quality in them, and I'm not saying Dakota Lithium is the only one. That's the one that I saw because, you know, they sponsor KBF, they sponsor Bassmaster, they sponsor a lot of the things I love. Therefore, I support them. Who else do I recommend? Miller Tech also makes great lithium batteries here in the Midwest. Faith-based owned company, and they actually do a lot of battery stuff for the Amish community. And the owner of Miller Tech is an Amish guy. And you know, I know you're immediately thinking like I did, Amish, they don't do in the thing in the modern. They power a lot of things, even though they don't run electric wires through a lot of their stuff. They still use lithium batteries to power the lights on their buggies. and in different places it's just whatever. But you know, Miller Tech is another one, and you'll see them supporting like Major League Fishing and things like that too. So I'm a Dakota Lithium guy. I know there's a lot of guys that use their lifetimes in the Walmarts, this and that, and this and that. I'm the guy who, if I can, what I consider to be the best to do, you know, the best that gets me by. And so I cannot have a battery go out and strand me 5-6 miles away from a boat ramp, and then make me paddle this monstrosity back to a boat ramp. I just have to buy something that I know I can trust, has a good 11-year warranty, things like that. So Bronzeback Bassin says, "Hey Gramps, just bought the PWR, dude. Best kayak that in my opinion, hands down, on the market today." I'm actually going to do a video of 5 fishing kayaks that I recommend. Notice I said fishing kayaks, but 5 fishing kayaks that I recommend based on my experience or the few other people that I'm bringing in to collab with me on this video. And they actually shot these videos for me like last year, and I never did get that video edited, but I'm going to do that this year. But I'm going to go through the 5 brands of kayaks, fishing kayaks, that I recommend, so you guys stay tuned for that one as well. But for me, the PWR is the one that does everything. Another one of my favorites in that same category would be like the Native Titan X, because you can also have a pedal drive, but that's an awful big yak too. But you know, you'll see the similarities, but the differences as well when I launch this video. But to me, congrats on the PWR. That thing, I mean, it's my absolute favorite. If this wasn't like the big dog of the show this year, I would probably have another PWR. But like I've told other people, I want it to be able to take anyone, whether they're 300, 400 pounds, disabled, limited mobility, have never really fished before, and they're wanting to just try it out. I can put them in this and know that they're 100% safe, stable. I can even control the XI3 for them so that all they have to do is follow me around and fish. But, you know, this is, you guys remember the bass buggies? This is the kayak version of the bass buggy, but it's got so much more ability with it, and the wind won't just blow it all around the lake. That's why a lot of people, well, why don't you just get a john boat and take them out and all that? You ever try to put 2 grown-ass men in a john boat? You know, time anybody stands up or takes a step, the whole thing's tipped over. And I've seen more people fall out of john boats than a kayak. So, like I said, this is something that I could put somebody else in. This is something I'd put my father in, who's, you know, pushing 75, 74 this year. So, yep, it's just one of those things. But PWR, great choice. If you haven't been here, I keep pointing that way because my PWR is up on a shelf over there, and it's just out of your view. Philip, take care, brother. Good seeing you in here. Charlie says, PWR seems great. Love to get one someday. The great thing about it, you can put a motor on the back. You can put it on the front. Skinny little young man like yourself. Skinny young man, not little young man. Skinny young man like yourself can put 2 motors on it. But they still don't allow us to have 2 motors in it yet. So I like it for the fact that you can kind of rig it for, what was it I said last year when I was doing it? I was like, I can build the kayak I need for that day. If I'm fishing the Susquehanna River, I don't want the XI3 on it because I want something with a rear mount motor that's got more horsepower for dealing with currents, flows, and things like that. If I'm fishing a big lake where I might be out offshore spot locking more often than not, then I like to be ability to take off the back motor and put on the front motor. It makes it really nice. And with the PWR having its own built-in rudder, it takes just moments to unhook it from your back motor and run it back to the disc that controls that little rudder that's on there if you're using an XI3, because then you can take your XI3, have it point straight, and then use the foot pedals to control your steering that way. And if you go back and watch the channel last year, you'll see I did the first half of the year with it in lake mode, where I had the XI3 up front and I was using the foot and rudder steering to control it that way. And then the last half of the year, I had the NK300 on the back and I was using that to foot control, you know, everywhere we went. So trying to show the versatility you know, trying to show the versatility of the PWR last year. But again, this is going to be the scoping boat this year. And like I said, if I was going to take my dad out and take him fishing with me, this is what I would put him in, because it's easier to get in and out of than my boat would be for him too. So I could pull this right up to the boat ramp. He could step into it, and then I could pull him out away from it, and then, you know, run the remote control, and he could just sit there with his, you know, he'd fish with a cane pole if I, you know, if I put him in here, he wouldn't care. So where are we at time-wise, guys? I might have to end this one a little early just so I can go eat some lasagna with Gran, and then maybe spend the rest of the afternoon kind of getting this stuff laid out, so the next time we go live, we can, you know, we can be a little more organized. Because, like I said, this was a test run, but I want to give Dave, the old Wolf of Walmart over on Instagram, the idea for me to just go hop on and go live and try to do this. And, you know, it seems like you guys can see pretty well. I could probably move this table around a little bit too if I need to, if I'm doing stuff more in the front. But I think I'm going to go. I think I'm going to get off of here, and I am going to go. Say I got to save my voice a little bit too, since we're going live tonight. Tomorrow I don't have to care. But I think I'm going to go grab everything out and do a build order, if that makes sense, and then we'll go live maybe tomorrow, and then a few times during the week, this coming week, and do some rigging sessions. Because while I have my yak power out there, and, you know, I may get like a second camera, maybe one of my DJRs or even my phone, and then that way I can walk you guys around and show you multiple things, you know, throughout this, so that you're not just limited to this overhead view, even though it actually looks pretty good from what I can tell. So, you know, that might be the juice a little bit. I could probably zoom in a little more when we're up there, but I kind of wanted to show more of the garage than not. But, you know, I'm going to go back and watch and listen to this some too. If you guys, you know, tell me the audio and everything sounds okay, and my DJI mic, I have literally Bluetooth into my laptop, so it makes it nice and easy to be able to do that. But I've got plenty of white light coming in here. And so, yeah, it seems to be working pretty darn good. Steven says he doesn't have a motor, but likes to watching the rigging stuff. Still paddle everywhere. Trust me, bro. I've got 2 paddle kayaks in the storage unit right now, because sometimes, man, that's just the way to do it. Go throw your kayak in a creek and go old school. And we're gonna be doing a little more of that stuff this year too. So, yeah, I've got 4 different kayaks. I've got the XTR, the Bonafide, and then in the storage unit, I've got a Bonafide RS117 paddle kayak. And then I have that Old Town 120 that I won from the Kayak Adventure series. But that one is probably going to go to a Marine Corps veteran friend of mine later in this year. Oh, I already gave that juice away. I wasn't supposed to. But that's probably where that's going to go. And then I may end up picking up an RVR 119 that I want to use as a river creek kayak, but that I can also paddle it as well. Or I might. I'm actually debating on going back and getting another Old Town PDL 106 for the creeks and whatnot, because I still miss my Old Towns. I'm a Bonafide guy this time, but I'm also an Old Town guy. You guys all know that. Those are 2 brands that I, you know, yeah. So, yeah, you guys let me know. Drop comments after the live's over. What do you think about the whole rigging idea thing? I know we didn't do a lot of rigging today, but like I said, I wanted to do kind of a test run. But I'm gonna go lay all my electronics out, my lights out, because we've still got a light pole that's going to get mounted back here. It's an extendable light pole. For the tournaments that requires us to have lights, you know, when we start in the morning. I've got to drill out, install the holes up front for the red and green light because we're motorized. But I'm going to lay everything out, and then we'll come back and do some, you know, 2 or 3 hour sessions. Make a list and let you pick what's next. Oh God, no, bro. I am literally crazy with my task lists. I mean, I have got to be organized no matter what I'm doing. I will Where's it at? Scroll up, scroll. I am that dude that has, like, so here's my, oh, you're not gonna be able to see it because it's a white background. But that is my XTR rigging task list on Google Tasks. And it's like I got categories: electronics, rig straight up mounts, rig both units, run cables to units, the black box power, live scope extension cable, live scope pole, mount transducer rear. And then I've got the back panel. Well, I can actually check this one off. Back panel Anderson plug install. We did that today. And then under lighting, I've got the control panel rig, the front lights install, the back light install. And then I need to order a flag to run on my light pole because, you know, America. And then I got controlling motor. I got release cable mount. And then I've got an XI3 silencer coming in. So yeah, it's funny because with me running the Fishing with Gramps YouTube channel, the Everything Kayak Fishing podcast, I'm going to be starting a new Hickman Tech YouTube channel, which is going to be my Gen X meets YouTube, you know, phone reviews, camera reviews, action camera reviews, drone reviews, tablet reviews, you know, then my more advanced how to set up your cameras for doing YouTube, the actual Sony, um, the new Sony camera I got for shooting content, the lenses I use, um, and then I'm going to have a video series for how to become a fishing YouTuber. Because while I'm not 100,000 sub guy with, you know, thousands of views every video that I put out, I've still learned a lot of stuff over the last few years that will help you guys, you know, maybe save some time, effort, money, so you're not buying stupid shit you don't need to start a YouTube channel, because literally you can start a YouTube channel with just your phone. But I have to have task lists for all that stuff because I do all this stuff in my after hours. I work one of the most stressful jobs in the U.S. government. I mean, imagine what being a cybersecurity manager is like in the Department of Defense. I'll just let you think of the enemies that we have to deal with on a daily basis. And so, yes, this old fat bastard can't wait till he retires, just so I don't have to sweat that stuff anymore. But for now, I have to be at the top of my game, and so does my team every day, 10 hours a day that we're there. And while we're doing all that, we also have to stay up to date on all the latest technology certifications. So many things. Maybe I'll get doged into retirement. Maybe they'll offer me an early buyout. My wife says, quit talking like that. But yeah, so it's just one of those funky things. What locations you're putting on the cameras? Yeah, we're going to cover all of that stuff when we get kind of things rigged up, and then I get it rigged to YouTube. So yeah. All right. I think I've talked myself out, and I need to save my voice. But yeah, this year, what my initial thinking is, I'm actually probably going to put one camera on my black pack because I kind of like that center over the head look. The last year or so, I've been putting it over my right shoulder, and that captures quite a bit. But I think maybe by raising it up some and centering it, I get a broader field of view. But then I'll also wear a chest mount because, you know, sometimes you capture some of that action from the front. And then somewhere up front, I'm going to have like a higher mounted camera. Like Gene always says, you don't want to have the crotch stop when you're doing the front stuff. But there are times that you still want to do that. And I don't know, I'm still debating on getting another one of the 360 cams. I absolutely hated the GoPro 360 cams because they were a bitch for years to edit. But those the new 360 cams, you can literally edit stuff from the app and post it while you're on the water. And they actually have an app in it that lets you live access your footage, and then you can actually make a clip on what you want to see and then upload it on social media while you're actually there. But I'll go through all the different cameras I have for YouTube because, you know, some cameras you use for on the water. You use some that you use, you know, for doing talking head stuff like this. Like this setup here is nothing that would ever go on the water. This is my laptop, 2 Elgato lights. I've got a microphone that we're not using right now, but you guys see this mic in the lives all the time on a boom mic. That's an Elgato mic on a Samson mount. And then I've got, you know, I've got the highest end 4K video camera that Elgato makes. That's basically one of the most advanced webcams that there is. And that's what you guys see on the live streams every night. But as you see, you know, I'm only streaming in 1080p here. Yeah, Colin said fishing with the Insta360 would be crazy. 100%, because then you can pan your view around to whatever you're doing and, you know, capture all the footage that way. I've seen a lot of people put them up front so they can swing them around. But, you know, I may, like I said, I may get one of those too and play with them as well. But I don't mind buying gear to help improve the fishing experience or to share this fishing experience with you guys out there, so that you get ideas. You get ideas when you're out there on the water too. And now we got a frog in the throat, so we need to go take a break and get ready for a live stream that's later on. But I mean, I think that's going to be it for our first test stream. We've been at it for almost 2 hours. But like I said, the future rigging sessions, now that we know this works, you guys seem to be be good with the audio. So the DJI Mic 2 is doing its job connecting to my laptop. That makes me happy. No, now that we've kind of tested out a little test rigging scenario, we did get one thing done at least. We got our power cable run. But like I said, I'm going to go through, get organized, and then we will just do some more live streams throughout the next couple of weeks as we rig this Bonafide XTR130 and getting it ready for the Bassmaster Classic. Can't wait. I'm going to follow some friends around down there that are going to be fishing, get some good footage of them with the drone and the cameras, because I do have my drone, you know, license. Your sound seems choppier now that you moved your laptop. Well, I'm using a wireless mic going to the laptop, so like I said, I'll have to go back and listen to it to see what I think. But I wanted to be able again to, you know, move around and have at least decent audio. But I'll go back and play it back, and we'll see what it looks and sounds like too. So. All right, that's it for now. We'll be back again. Like I said, I'm going to get more organized, but stay tuned for future lives. As always, get outside. Well, I got to say, 8 o'clock right here tonight, Chad Hoover. We're going to do Catch 22 Challenge, recaps, talk about the month of February, probably do some giveaways. But I'll be live tonight with Chad Hoover right here on the Fishing with Gramps YouTube channel. And then we'll be back in the future doing some live rigging sessions. I'll get better organized. We'll get things laid out beforehand, and that way the whole time that we're out here, I'm not digging around the boxes looking for stuff. We'll just go through and do segments and sessions, and you guys can watch as we rig this Bonafide XTR. As always, get outside when you can and make some memories, one cast at a time. Thanks for hopping in today.